It's a disease that affects almost everyone in some way or another. And here in San Diego, researchers continue to make big strides in the fight against cancer. And thanks to the Fleet Science Center, you have an opportunity tonight to hear from an expert about the latest in cancer research. Dr. Crystal Soul from SDSU is here with more on the latest SUDS and Science seminar. Dr. Soul, thank you so much for coming in, for making some time for us this morning.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks.
You're going to be in Chula Vista at Mangia Italiano tonight at 6:30, and you'll have an opportunity to sort of enlighten people at the research being done at San Diego State when it comes to cancer.
That's exactly right. Yeah, so I'm a scientist at San Diego State. In my lab, we are interested in trying to understand cancer at the biochemical or the molecular level. And so I hope to talk a little bit about that, but mostly to hear about the questions from the audience, what people are interested in when they think about cancer.
So we were mentioning and having an opportunity to chat during the commercial break, and when people think of cancer, they put it in a category: breast cancer, lung cancer, pancreatic cancer. Do you look at it in a different way now?
Yeah, things are really changing. Originally, as you mentioned, we think about cancer as at its primary source. We think about lung cancer, we think about prostate cancer. But that's really changing, and this is really driven by this idea of personalized medicine. And so what this means is basically now we try and think about cancer at the molecular or the genomic level. And so what happened originally is that, if two different people were diagnosed with lung cancer, their treatment plan would be exactly the same. Now what we're doing is we're trying to sequence those tumors and figure out where the errors are in that genome. And if we can figure out those errors, those actually can serve as weaknesses for the tumor that we can go in and attack. So the ultimate goal is to try and find and develop therapies that can directly target those particular drivers of that person's cancer.
A friend of mine was recently diagnosed with breast cancer, and the doctor told her, we'll never know why, when, or how this started. Are we getting close to answering any of those questions for people?
Well, in a sense, yes. I mean, we now can, again, if we can sequence that tumor, we can figure out what in particular is going wrong. The important point, in your statement is, trying to figure out if we have in our arsenal specific drugs that can go in and target that cancer directly.
When people get diagnosed with cancer, it's a very scary thing to hear. Does it need to be this scary? The C word is what a lot of people even refer to it as, because they're absolutely terrified during this diagnosis. But reading some of your notes here, it sounds like survival rates are really on the way up.
Absolutely. And of course it's going to depend on, the cancer type and at which point it's actually diagnosed. But, I think we are living in a much more hopeful time whenever we think about cancer.
People that come out to the panel tonight are probably just going to have a whole lot of questions for you.
I hope so.
And different types of cancers, it doesn't matter. You're able to answer questions kind of across the board.
Oh, of course. I'm happy to at least try, right? And so, of course, my focus is more on the research of cancer, but I suspect a lot of people will be interested in, perhaps more patient-based information. I'll do my best on that, but my specialty is really more in the research.
Absolutely. All right, Dr. Crystal Soul from San Diego State, and we want to put the information, if we can, up on the screen again, just so you know when this is taking place. It's at 6:30 tonight at Mangia Italiano. That's on 3rd Avenue in Chula Vista. $5 will get you in, have a cold one, and ask all the questions you need. Dr. Soul, thanks for your time this morning.
Thanks so much.
Best of luck at the event tonight.